it would appear that CBR continues to drink the Kool-Aid, right? They seem to be of the belief that that DC is apparently doing something groundbreaking and so fascinating, and they have these fantastic strategies coming out the wazoo that they know exactly what they're doing at all times, and everybody should be shocked and amazed by what they're doing. And really, it's just the same old crap that DC continues to do, and they act like you're supposed to be interested in it. So CBR has this article out. DC's newest publishing strategy is a stroke of genius. That's one way of calling something a genius. That's really what I mean. The publishing strategy employed during dawn of DC is an effective way of gauging reader interest and is a step in the right direction. Well, let's find out exactly what it is this new strategy is actually about. Right? DC Comics is currently beginning its Dawn of DC initiative. That's turning out to be crap, big surprise there, in which numerous titles are relaunched or revamped. Oh yeah, we haven't seen that before. How many times has DC relaunched or revamped their titles in like the last 3 or 4 years? Probably about like 3 or 4 times. So I don't know why that should be shocking, but anyway. But new creative themes. In the case of characters who hadn't had any titles running, many of them are receiving them in the form of mini-series. How is that new? Some of these have already been extended beyond their initial plans, which showcases a successful new way to sell comic books. Okay, so apparently this is some new creative plan that DC has, except for the fact that DC did this in the 70s, the 80s, also sometimes in the 90s. You start off characters with miniseries, and then if it's good, they get an ongoing run. That's sort of the basis of everything. So I don't understand why you're acting like this is something big. They've always done this with several characters over the years. So let's see who they're starting off with. Dawn of DC's Green Arrow has expanded. The first Dawn of DC book to receive this sort of expansion is Green Arrow from Joshua Williamson and Sean Izaksky. I hope I pronounced that correct. This comic was originally only going to be 6 issues long, but due to the tremendous amount of pre-orders, it was expanded to twice that amount. Given the positive reception to the series' first issue and the fact that it reunites fan-favorite Arrow family characters, it's highly likely that said 12th issue won't be the end. It's actually somewhat surprising that a character as well-known and popular as Green Arrow would only be given a mini-series, but DC's seeming intentions make that a bit more logical. Okay. Now, Green Arrow is kind of a B-list character, if you really think about it in this. It's kind of a B-list character. But he can rise to A-list at times. He can carry a book for a little while, and when it starts to drop off, then they kind of tell him and bring him back. That's sort of how it works. The fact is that now that you're doing this and you're acting surprised that, you know, Green Arrow, such a popular character, why he doesn't think? I mean, he had his own show on CW. And at the time when that show came out, and you know, when Arrow first premiered, it was interesting and people were actually interested in the character. That's when you should have been pushing the character heavily, instead of destroying DC like they were doing. But no, you weren't doing that. You've done this now. You've brought him back for a mini-series. The first issue was out. I hear some people say that the issue was actually really good. Okay, no problem. Then you're talking about Arrow family members, all that thing. Why all of a sudden everybody has a large family with them? Green Arrow kind of always struck me as a solo hero who may occasionally team up with people. Yes, he had his sidekick Speedy. You understand me? Okay, he and Black Canary are a thing. Okay. But he's pretty much always just been a solo hero in my book. Now, like I said, he can carry a title. And if you put competent writers on it to do competent stories that actually explore and showcase how interesting and cool the character can be, because he's basically just a badass modern day Robin Hood. That could actually be interesting. But DC doesn't do that. You're acting like, okay, we were originally going to give him this 6-issue miniseries. And because, the first issue came out and people actually liked it, let's extend it to 12 issues. Why? Because, you haven't even tested anyone to see if it could actually hold on for a little while. You could have started with issue 1, 2, 3, 4. And by the time you reach like issue 4 or 5, you see that, okay, it's actually got some momentum. Then you could have extended that. Then you could have actually given him his own run. There are many characters in DC that could get their own solo book and actually be good, but you have to have competent people writing these characters and work. And when you don't have that, it doesn't matter who you give a miniseries to. It's just going to fall off at the end anyway, because that's pretty much what happens with DC Comics. They then go on to say that given the trajectory of the comic book industry, it makes sense to pivot towards what sells. Obviously, DC would be wise to ensure that the majority of its bigger properties can sell monthly titles. One way to test these waters is through a miniseries or two, namely from different creators handling the same character. This way, interest can be properly gauged on if the heroes are ready for the prime time in the form of a monthly book. But like I've been saying before, this is what DC has always done. In the 70s and the 80s, this was their thing. This is a normal thing. You give people a little miniseries to see if the character catches on. Once the writing is good and the character is interesting, it will catch on. For every Superman, there's going to be a couple dozen duds that don't make it, but you keep trying. That's what happens. They then go on to make this incredibly stupid remark here that apparently DC's miniseries expansion emulates how manga is sold. Get into this, sir. The biggest competitor for DC Comics wouldn't be rival comic publishers such as Marvel or Image, but rather localized manga. The fact that you actually believe that DC's biggest competitor is manga is just absolutely ludicrous. That's like saying that the Incredible Hulk's biggest competitor in a fetal strength is a newborn baby. That's just, come on. Manga is literally destroying them. We continue order that have corresponding anime adaptations. Yeah, where are the animated DC movies and not DC series? None of that. But anyway, these titles have absolutely trounced American comic books in terms of sales. With CBR actually admitting manga is destroying the American comic book industry after they spent all that time telling you that, there's nothing going on here, everything is fine, that me and other people are just lying. Boy, is that? Right, see upside down rainbow today. Though not all manga are winners back in Japan, the manga industry is particularly ruthless, and titles that fail to gain traction are summarily ended. DC now seems to be exploring a similar concept for their B and C-list heroes, and it may just pay off as shown with Green Arrow. It allows the company to see where readers' interest lies and what properties will have the most consistent success. Now, they're not wrong. Manga, how they operate is pretty straightforward. If your title doesn't sell, it gets axed and they move on to something else. They've also been times that, manga started off really good and they kind of fall off and they just cancel it and move on. They don't play with that. They are interested in putting out quality Your work has to be spot on to attract readers, to attract fans, to attract interest. That's what it needs to be done. If you're not doing that, they ask you without even thinking about it and they move on. You don't get that with the American comic book industry. They put out crap after crap after crap after crap and keep telling you you have to eventually like it. You think I'm like that? That's one. Let me give you an actual example that they have given here. Falling into a similar category is the teen hero Jamie Reyes, aka Blue Beetle. Since he is soon to receive his theatrical movie, DC published a recent miniseries titled Blue Beetle Graduation Day that features parallel elements to the film. This is now being followed up by another upcoming series in the same vein, allowing for another jumping on point for new readers. At the same time, a final season will provide DC a clear view of whether the character has gotten over with readers. So, if both or either succeed, it might be worth investing in Jamie even more. Right, so they're saying that they have Blue Beetle Graduation Day is a mini-series, and they're going to gauge to see how that works. And they've already ordered another series of books and another mini-series in that same vein, right? Let's check out how Blue Beetle Graduation Day is actually faring, right? Here it is, the list, right? Blue Beetle Graduation Day number 4 of 6 is at 171 on the rankings. And you want to know where Blue Beetle Graduation Day number 5 is? Get right down here. Unranked. It fell out of the top 200. Whenever you see a book is unranked, it means that it sold so little and that the volume cannot even be calculated to how little it is. Nobody's reading this. Look at this unranked book of God, Tim Drake Robin number 7. Yeah, well, it's already been cancelled, but still. Blue Beetle Graduation Day number 5 is unranked. You understand me? Nobody's buying this. By its 4th issue, it was already barely squeezing in to the top 171. By its 5th issue, it's unranked, and you're telling me that you have actually ordered up more for this? So yes, this whole nonsense you're talking about, how you're going to be checking to see how people are getting, it is basically a lie. You're only doing it for the titles that you actually care about. You can't just put one toe into the water. You either put both feet in or you dive in with it and done. If this was manga, you would have cancelled it completely, because let's not forget, Harley Quinn, Eat, Bang, Kill, Tour by T. Franklin. One of the worst comics ever written. Everybody I have ever heard review that book has talked about what a terrible piece of garbage it actually is. They had the whole Harley Quinn animated series, and then they based this book around all kind of it. Nobody liked the book. It fell out of the top rank. It didn't help that T. Franklin was going around telling people to go screw themselves, didn't like the book, but still, it was a terribly written book. And what did they do? Order more for it. They ordered more for it, they still have it on winner, and just why? So this whole nonsense about how DC talking about how their biggest competitor is Manga, don't even mean like them that crap. You come out to tell me that DC's newest publishing strategies are stroke genius. No, you are just doing the same nonsense that you did before. Doing the miniseries are fine, but when they fail, you have to cut them out and move on, and you're not doing that. So this is no stroke of genius. This is the same crap DC always does, and when it fails miserably, they're going to blame everybody else except themselves. You know your thoughts on this in the comments. Have a different opinion, I'd love to hear it. If you like the video, try to hit that thumbs up, subscribe if you haven't already, ring the notification bell to be notified every time I put out a new video. And I shall see you all next time. Take care.